Dear children, welcome to the first podcast on the chapter Women, Caste and Reform. In this podcast, we would analyze how women and the lower caste people were humiliated in our country. Have you ever thought of how children lived about 200 years ago? Nowadays, most girls from middle class families go to school and often study with boys. On growing up, many of them go to colleges and universities and take up jobs after that. They have to be adults before they are legally married, and according to law, they can marry anyone they like from any caste and community, and widows can remarry too. All women, like all men, can vote and stand for elections. Of course, these rights are not actually enjoyed by all. Poor people have little or no access to education, and in many families, women cannot choose their husbands. 200 years ago, things were very different. Most children were married off at an early age. Both Hindu and Muslim men could marry more than one wife. In some parts of the country, widows were praised if they chose death by burning themselves on the funeral pyre of their husbands. Women who died in this manner, whether willingly or otherwise, were called sati, meaning virtuous women. Women's rights to property were also restricted. Besides, most women had virtually no access to education. In many parts of the country, people believed that if a woman was educated, she would become a widow. Differences between men and women were not the only ones in society. In most regions, people were divided along lines of caste. Brahmins and Kshatriyas considered themselves as upper caste. Others, such as traders and moneylenders, often referred to as Vaishyas, were placed after them. Then came peasants and artisans, such as weavers and potters, referred to as Shudras. At the lowest rung were those who labored to keep cities and villages clean or worked at jobs that upper caste considered polluting. That is, it could lead to the loss of caste status. The upper caste also treated many of these groups at the bottom as untouchable. They were not allowed to enter temples, draw water from the wells used by the upper caste, or bathe in ponds where upper caste bathed. They were seen as inferior human beings. Over the 19th and 20th centuries, many of these norms and perceptions slowly changed. We will see how this happened in the next podcast. Thank you.